Nobody saw this coming. Not the fans, not the cast, not even the producers of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. When K. Michelle sat down for what was supposed to be a routine interview about her new music, nobody expected her to drop one of the most shocking confessions in reality TV history. Her voice was calm, but her words detonated like fireworks. "I'm tired of watching everybody pretend," she said. "Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine were never what y'all think. It wasn't no love triangle, it was a poly relationship. All three of them knew." Within minutes, the internet caught fire. Hashtags trended, fan pages exploded, and everyone was asking the same thing. Could the show's most talked about scandal have been an open secret all along? According to K. Michelle, the so-called betrayal that once tore Love and Hip Hop apart wasn't betrayal at all, it was agreement. Rasheeda wasn't blindsided, she claimed. She played her part because that's what the deal was. Kirk got caught up, and Jasmine caught feelings. That's when it all fell apart. Those few sentences turned years of televised drama upside down. Fans who once pitied Rasheeda for Kirk's infidelity began re-watching old clips, looking for clues as that a knowing smile, a double meaning in her confessionals. Meanwhile, Jasmine Washington's past interviews suddenly seemed to carry a new weight. Her quiet defiance recast as guilt or heartbreak. The producers of Love and Hip Hop have remained silent, but insiders say the cast's group chat blew up like a bomb. Some accused K. Michelle of lying for attention, while others privately admitted that the rumor had circulated behind the scenes for years. And the timing, perfectly chaotic. Kirk and Rasheeda had just celebrated what they called a fresh chapter in their marriage, while Jasmine had begun hinting at a tell-all project of her own. Behind the scenes, tension reportedly escalated fast. Rasheeda, usually the picture of control, was said to have called Mona Scott directly, demanding a statement to protect her family's name. Kirk, on the other hand, was caught between fury and fear, furious that the past was back in the spotlight, and fearful that one slip could expose something real. Meanwhile, K. Michelle doubled down on her claims, teasing that she had proof that would end the conversation forever. As fans began dissecting every photo, every caption, and every episode for signs of hidden affection or coded messages, one thing became clear. This was bigger than old gossip. It wasn't just about cheating anymore, it was about secrets, power, and the blurred lines between love and loyalty. If K. Michelle was telling the truth, it meant the entire storyline that made Rasheeda and Kirk household names might have been staged on a foundation of half-truths and private arrangements. And now, the question haunting every fan of the franchise: what really happened between Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine? Did they hide a consensual relationship in plain sight, or is this K. Michelle's ultimate revenge play? The truth, as always, promises to be far messier than anyone imagined. When K. Michelle dropped her bombshell, everyone thought it was just another messy rumor, the kind that flares up online and fades by morning. But within hours, things got deeper, darker, and far too specific to ignore. People started sharing old footage from Love and Hip Hop, scenes that once seemed innocent now replayed with suspicion. Kirk's glances toward Jasmine, Rasheeda's oddly calm tone during their arguments, the strange silences that hung in the room whenever Jasmine's name came up. K. Michelle had said it straight, and she wasn't backing down. They knew, she said again during an Instagram live that drew nearly 500,000 viewers. Don't let that show fool you. They was living together, just not under one roof. The comment section exploded. Fans typed in all caps, some calling her a liar, others claiming they'd always suspected it. One even wrote, "This explains why Rasheeda was too calm when Kirk confessed she already knew the situation." In the background, Kirk and Rasheeda's team scrambled. Rasheeda unfollowed K. Michelle on social media within an hour, while Kirk stayed quiet, which only fueled the fire. Jasmine, meanwhile, posted a cryptic story, a photo of a glass of wine and the caption, "Truth tastes better when it's aged." That one line was enough to send the internet into hysteria. Behind the scenes, Mona Scott, the producer of the show, was reportedly furious. According to insiders, she called an emergency meeting with the cast's management teams to contain the narrative, but the damage was done. Gossip blogs published news sources claiming the arrangement between Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine had been mutual, something they allegedly tried to keep off camera to protect their brand. One blog even posted blurred screenshots of what looked like text messages between Kirk and Jasmine discussing keeping things smooth with R. The R, fans assumed, was Rasheeda. By midweek, Rasheeda finally broke her silence in an emotional Instagram live. Her voice trembled at first, but she forced a calm tone. "People love to twist what they don't understand," she said. "Me and my husband been through hell. Yes, but don't nobody know the full story." She didn't deny K. Michelle's claim outright, which made fans even more suspicious. "So there is a story," someone commented. The live ended abruptly when Kirk appeared in the background, visibly frustrated, saying, "Stop feeding this nonsense." The feed cut, but not before viewers heard Rasheeda whisper, "It's already out there." In Atlanta, where everyone seems connected to everyone, whispers spread fast. One hairstylist who once worked with Jasmine told a blogger that the energy between them three was off from the start. She described moments where Jasmine would arrive at events through the back entrance, only to leave minutes after Rasheeda. "They tried to act like strangers, but baby, I seen the looks," she said. Another former crew member added fuel, claiming Kirk often called production to reshoot scenes that made Jasmine look too close to the family storyline. The more people talked, the more everything started to make sense. Michelle, who had long-standing beef with several cast members, seemed to have cracked a code everyone else had tiptoed around. In another interview, she added, "It's not about hate, it's about honesty. Y'all been watching a scripted marriage with real emotions mixed in. That's why it blew up." The network issued a brief statement saying they do not comment on the private lives of cast members. But that only confirms suspicions for many fans. Forums lit up, with users dissecting every word, tone, and photo. Someone even found a throwback post where Rasheeda had commented under Jasmine's photo with a single heart emoji years ago, something that now looked less friendly and more suggestive. Inside their home, Kirk and Rasheeda were reportedly at odds. One insider close to the family claimed Kirk wanted to let it pass, but Rasheeda was adamant about setting the record straight before it gets worse. Jasmine, on the other hand, seemed to bask in the sudden attention. She began posting glamorous selfies with captions like "Truth doesn't hide forever," and "The piece hits different when you stop pretending." Fans were torn. Some called her bold, others labeled her delusional, but everyone was watching. The turning point came when a fan dug up an old unreleased interview clip from a reunion special that never aired. In it, Jasmine was asked directly if she ever felt sorry for Rasheeda. She smirked before saying, "Sometimes people agree to things until they don't." The audience had gasped, but the moment was edited out before the episode aired. Now, resurfaced and shared millions of times. It seemed like confirmation of everything Michelle had alleged. As the week went on, the story grew wilder. One rumor claimed that Kirk's 2017 infidelity scandal was actually staged to divert attention from their unconventional relationship dynamic. Another said Rasheeda had even approved Jasmine's appearance on the show because she wanted to control the narrative. Whether true or not, fans ate it up. Reality TV thrives on chaos, and this was pure fire. On a late Friday night, Michelle returned online with another statement. "Since y'all calling me a liar," she said, "let's see how much longer they can hide the receipts." Her tone was cold, unbothered, confident. She didn't name names or show proof, but she didn't need to. The anticipation alone kept the internet buzzing. Producers reportedly begged her to stop, worried she'd expose contractual secrets. Instead, she smirked and said, "Maybe next time, tell the truth before I do." The following morning, Kirk and Rasheeda appeared in public together for the first time since the scandal broke. Holding hands outside a restaurant in Buckhead, paparazzi swarmed, shouting questions. Kirk muttered, "We good," while Rasheeda kept her sunglasses on, her face unreadable. Jasmine, meanwhile, posted a selfie in her car with the caption, "Watching people act like strangers when they shared the same bed, priceless." That single post sent everything spiraling again. Fans flooded her comments, demanding to know what she meant. One asked, "So you confirming it?" Jasmine replied with a single word, "Finally." Within minutes, gossip pages screen captured it before she deleted it. The damage was done. Michelle reposted the screenshot with a caption that read, "And y'all said I was lying." The circle was complete, and now everyone wanted answers straight from the source. While Kirk and Rasheeda tried to keep up appearances, insiders say things inside their home were far from calm. Arguments, slammed doors, phones thrown across the room. Everything that once stayed private was spilling into public view. Rasheeda allegedly blamed Kirk for being too messy, while Kirk accused her of not standing united. Jasmine, now trending across every blog, had nothing to lose and everything to gain. She'd turned a decade-old scandal into a headline once again, and this time, she wasn't the one being silenced. By the end of the week, even former cast members were chiming in. One commented under a gossip post, "Some of us been new. They played that marriage card for the cameras." Another hinted that Mona was always aware but couldn't risk losing the audience. Whether real or fiction, the story had become unstoppable. Every time Kirk or Rasheeda tried to deny it, another clip or quote surfaced that made them look guilty. And through it all, Michelle just kept watching, smiling, posting, and letting the chaos unfold. She'd lit the match and walked away, leaving Atlanta to burn in its own rumors. But deep down, everyone knew this wasn't over. There were still too many half-truths, too many secrets whispered behind closed doors. Something bigger was coming, and Michelle had promised, the next part will change everything. The following Sunday, Atlanta felt smaller. Everyone in the industry was talking about the same thing. Michelle's revelation had gone from rumor to a full-blown reality crisis. The air was thick with speculation. Producers, stylists, ex-friends, and even security guards began dropping their own stories. One former production assistant told a local gossip blogger that Kirk used to send Jasmine rides to set even when she wasn't filming. They had their own code words for everything. The clip went viral overnight, especially after fans noticed that Kirk's old car was visible in the background of several behind-the-scenes photos Jasmine had posted years ago. Coincidences no longer looked like coincidences. Rasheeda, meanwhile, had gone quiet. No posts, no appearances, nothing. Fans began wondering if she was hiding or planning her next move. Kirk, on the other hand, showed up at a music event looking like he hadn't slept in days. When asked about the situation, he said, "People love to twist the truth. They forget we got families, real lives." But his voice cracked on real, and that clip alone became a meme within hours. Then Jasmine decided to speak. She posted a 6-minute video on her Instagram titled "Since Everyone Wanna Know the Truth." Her voice was calm, her expression tired. "I'm not here to destroy nobody," she began, "but I'm done taking all the blame for what 3 people did together." She paused, then said slowly, "It wasn't cheating. It was agreement." And that agreement fell apart when feelings got real. Fans were frozen. Within minutes, the video had millions of views and thousands of comments. People replayed her words again and again, trying to catch every hidden meaning. Across town, Michelle posted a simple reaction: 3 clapping hands and the word "finally." The timing was deliberate, surgical. Bloggers immediately connected Jasmine's statement with her earlier claims. Now it wasn't just rumor, it was testimony. The story shifted from gossip to revelation. Television networks picked it up. Entertainment reporters debated whether Love and Hip Hop had staged one of the greatest deceptions in reality TV history. And while fans argued about ethics and exposure, one truth became clear. The old image of Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage redemption was shattered. Behind closed doors, sources claimed Kirk was furious. One insider told an outlet that he'd called Jasmine repeatedly, demanding she take it down before the lawyers step in. Jasmine refused. "You can't sue me for telling the truth," she reportedly told him. Rasheeda, meanwhile, was caught in a spiral trying to protect her brand while facing the embarrassment of having her private life turned inside out. In a text leak that surfaced days later, allegedly between Rasheeda and a close friend, she wrote, "I can't believe she's doing this now. We all moved on." She said she wouldn't say nothing. The friend replied, "You trusted the wrong one." The fan reactions were divided. Some praised Jasmine for being honest, saying she was finally reclaiming her side of the story. Others accused her of trying to ruin a family for attention. Hashtags like #PolyTruth and #Kirk, RASHEEDA Jasmine started trending. Podcasts and gossip panels broke down the psychology of the situation, analyzing every word. And then, out of nowhere, Michelle took it even further. She appeared on a live radio show and dropped what she called the missing piece. In her words, "They had an understanding, but it went south when cameras got involved. The producers wanted drama, so they painted Jasmine as the villain. But trust me, that storyline came from real life." The studio went silent. The host tried to change the subject, but Michelle wasn't done. "If you look close," she said, "you can tell Rasheeda ain't surprised in them old scenes. She hurt, but not shocked. That's the difference." After that interview, chaos took over. Former castmates began hinting that they'd heard similar things back in the day. One even tweeted, "We all knew about the arrangement. They just kept it cute for TV." Though the tweet was deleted minutes later, fans had screenshots. The damage multiplied. Now everyone demanded an official statement from Rasheeda herself. Days later, she finally addressed it. Her live began with heavy breathing, a shaky camera, and no makeup, rare for her. "I never thought I'd be explaining my marriage to strangers," she began, "but I'm not gonna let people rewrite my story." Her voice rose as she continued. Whatever happened between us was between us. We were young, trying to figure things out. I loved my husband, still do, but I'm not about to let people make me look weak. I made choices. Maybe they wasn't perfect, but I made em. That line, "I made choices," became the quote of the week. Blogs reposted it with captions like "Rasheeda admits agreement." Meanwhile, Kirk stayed silent. He didn't appear in her live, didn't post, didn't speak. Fans speculated that they were living separately again. Paparazzi caught Rasheeda arriving alone at her boutique while Kirk was spotted leaving a hotel downtown. Mona Scott, always the opportunist, was reportedly planning to film a special addressing the situation. Crew members leaked that she was trying to get K, Michelle, Jasmine, and Rasheeda in the same room. That rumor alone was enough to reignite the frenzy. Then something unexpected happened. An anonymous email was sent to multiple gossip outlets, containing what appeared to be screenshots of group messages between the three from years ago. The messages were blurry, but one clearly read, "As long as we respect each other, it'll work." Another said, "She knows it's not behind her back." While no one could verify them, fans didn't care. The screenshots fit too perfectly into the chaos already unfolding. Overnight hashtags turned into movements. People debated poly relationships, reality TV ethics, and emotional manipulation. Some fans defended Rasheeda fiercely, saying she had every right to make her own choices in love. Others said she'd been pressured into something she didn't want. Meanwhile, Jasmine's followers skyrocketed. She began hinting at a possible documentary. "Maybe it's time to tell the whole story," she posted, adding a camera emoji and the word "soon." K. Michelle, on the other hand, began acting like she'd moved on, but insiders claim she was quietly working with producers to develop a tell-all reunion episode. One insider even hinted that K. Michelle had more messages, proof that what she said wasn't just gossip. "She's got receipts," the insider said. "She's just waiting for the perfect moment." By the end of that week, Atlanta nightlife was alive with whispers. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone claimed to know the real truth. The three names Kirk, Rasheeda, Jasmine were on every podcast title and YouTube thumbnail. Even people who hadn't watched Love and Hip Hop in years were now tuning in, desperate to see how it would all unfold. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the three of them were trapped. Kirk pacing in his studio, Rasheeda scrolling through headlines she wished she could erase, Jasmine staring at her phone as offers from talk shows and networks poured in. It had started as a secret between three adults. Followers skyrocketed. She began hinting at a possible documentary. "Maybe it's time to tell the whole story," she posted, adding a camera emoji and the word "soon." K. Michelle, on the other hand, began acting like she'd moved on, but insiders claimed she was quietly working with producers to develop a tell-all reunion episode. One insider even hinted that K. Michelle had more messages, proof that what she said wasn't just gossip. "She's got receipts," the insider said. "She's just waiting for the perfect moment." By the end of that week, Atlanta nightlife was alive with whispers. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone claimed to know the real truth. The three names Kirk, Rasheeda, Jasmine were on every podcast title and YouTube thumbnail. Even people who hadn't watched Love and Hip Hop in years were now tuning in, desperate to see how it would all unfold. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the three of them were trapped. Kirk pacing in his studio, Rasheeda scrolling through headlines she wished she could erase, Jasmine staring at her phone as offers from talk shows and networks poured in. It had started as a secret between three adults, but now it was a circus. A circus K. Michelle had set in motion, and one that no one could stop. The third week hit like a storm nobody could prepare for. The more Kirk and Rasheeda tried to move on, the more the internet pulled them back in. Jasmine's name was everywhere, trending, reposted, dissected, and then came the biggest twist yet. A leaked voice recording that sounded unmistakably like Kirk's voice saying, "We all agreed, baby, don't act brand new now." The clip was barely 10 seconds long, muffled and cut off, but that was enough. Fans went wild. The words "we all agreed" became the new headline across every gossip blog and Twitter thread. Suddenly, the question wasn't if it happened, it was how deep it went. Rasheeda's reaction came quietly. No statements, no denial. Instead, she posted a photo of herself wearing sunglasses, captioned "Real women don't explain everything." That one sentence fueled another wave of speculation. People started calling her the silent queen, saying she was handling the chaos with grace. Others accused her of deflecting. Still, everyone was watching her every move. Kirk, however, couldn't escape the pressure. Paparazzi cornered him outside a studio session, asking if the voice recording was real. His reply, "People will believe anything when they bored," didn't help. It came off defensive, almost panicked. Meanwhile, Jasmine decided she was done hiding. She went live again, this time looking confident, her hair styled, her tone calm but cutting. "That clip y'all heard," she said. "Yeah, it's real. But that's not even the worst of it. What people don't understand is that I didn't ruin nothing. I was part of something." They both knew it wasn't a game until somebody decided to act brand new for TV. The comments went insane. Fans were divided again, half calling her brave, half calling her manipulative. One comment read, "She talks like a woman scorned, but also like a woman telling the truth." K. Michelle joined the live briefly, typing in the chat, "Tell them what you told me in 2018. Jasmine smirked and said, "Nah, not yet. Timing is everything." By this point, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta fans were demanding an official on-screen confrontation. Blogs began leaking that Mona Scott had indeed secured a sit-down. Reportedly, all three had agreed to approach Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine alongside K. Michelle, who would clarify her role. That leak alone broke the internet. Everyone wanted to see it. Reality TV thrives on confession, and this was about to be the biggest in years. Producers booked a private set at a warehouse in Atlanta, completely off-limits to outsiders. Insiders said the tension was unbearable from the start. According to someone from the crew, Jasmine walked in first, unbothered, wearing all white. Kirk followed, tense, avoiding her eyes. Rasheeda arrived last, quiet, face unreadable. The cameras rolled immediately. Mona greeted them, said she wanted truth and healing, but nobody seemed interested in either. Jasmine spoke first. "You know what's crazy?" she said, looking at Kirk. "I kept my mouth shut for years. Protected both y'all. Now I'm the one everybody hates for being honest." Kirk shook his head. "Nah, you crossed lines you wasn't supposed to cross. We all had an understanding." Rasheeda finally spoke, her voice cold. "Understanding doesn't mean disrespect. You went public when you didn't need to." Jasmine shot back. "You went public the day you played the victim on TV." The room froze. Cameras kept rolling. The argument spiraled quickly. Kirk tried to mediate, saying he was tired of everyone making him the villain. Rasheeda's tone cracked for the first time. "You made yourself the villain, Kirk," she said, tears in her voice. "You wanted both worlds, and now we paying for it." Jasmine stayed calm, but her eyes glistened. "I didn't want both worlds," she said quietly. "I just wanted honesty." The silence that followed was heavier than any shouting. Mona signaled to cut, but K. Michelle, sitting in the corner, interrupted. "Nah, don't cut. This the truth people been waiting for." That clip leaked before the episode even aired became one of the most replayed moments online. Fans called it raw, real, unfiltered. Some said it was staged. But even if it was, it hit too close to home. After the leak, all three of them posted statements trying to regain control. Kirk said, "That sit-down was emotional. We all said things we regret." Rasheeda wrote, "Healing takes time. We've been through worse." Jasmine simply posted, "Truth doesn't need editing." But the story didn't stop there. Within days, another bombshell surfaced. Her former assistant claimed she'd witnessed multiple private meetings between the three. Long before the affair became public, she described them as weirdly comfortable, like a unit. Fans began piecing together timelines, drawing charts, connecting quotes from old interviews. Reality TV had turned into detective work. The tension spilled into their personal lives again. Kirk and Rasheeda reportedly argued about pulling out of future filming. Jasmine's publicist began hinting that she'd received offers for her own reality series. "People want her side," one statement read, "and this time, she's not letting others narrate her story." K. Michelle continued to stoke the fire. Posting clips from old Love and Hip Hop seasons, with captions like "Nothing ages worse than lies." By now, even other celebrities began weighing in. One rapper tweeted, "Poly relationships ain't the issue. Lying is." A reality star from another franchise commented under a gossip post, "Y'all act surprised. This been happening in TV for years." The conversation had gone far beyond Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine. It had become a cultural moment. Fans debated love, loyalty, and what it means to perform authenticity for television. Yet, beneath all the noise, there was exhaustion. Insiders said Rasheeda stopped taking calls, spending most of her time with her kids. Kirk reportedly tried reaching out to Jasmine privately, asking her to end this gracefully. Jasmine's response was simple: "Grace left the room when y'all made me your storyline." The tension between them felt permanent now, too public to ever be repaired. As the network prepared to air the special, trailers teased explosive scenes: Jasmine crying, Rasheeda walking off set, Kirk covering his face. The tagline read, "Truth hurts when it's recorded." Fans scheduled watch parties, Everyone wanted to see how it ended, but what nobody realized yet was that it wasn't ending at all, because Michelle, ever the master of timing, had one final move. She hinted at it on Twitter, posting just for words. Receipts dropped this Friday, and that's when Atlanta really started to shake. By Friday morning, the internet was trembling with anticipation. Blogs posted countdowns, YouTube channels scheduled premieres, and fans flooded Michelle's comments demanding she deliver what she promised. Receipts dropped this Friday had turned into a viral slogan. Everyone wanted to know what she really had. Would she show texts, photos, audio? The rumors were endless. Kirk's name trended beside Rasheeda's, and Jasmine's follower count doubled overnight. Insiders said Kirk barely left the house. Rasheeda, meanwhile, was spotted at her boutique, looking tense, avoiding eye contact with paparazzi. Jasmine stayed eerily quiet, which only added to the tension. When the moment finally came, it wasn't a live stream, it was a pre-recorded video. Michelle sat in her living room, collected, sipping wine. "Since y'all love the truth so much," she began, "here's what really happened." She didn't yell, didn't laugh, her tone was deadly serious. She played an old voice note from years ago. A group conversation where 3 distinct voices could be heard: Kirk's, Rasheeda's, and Jasmine's. The recording was grainy but clear enough. Kirk said, "We agreed it's us, just us 3, and nobody gotta know." Rasheeda's voice followed, "As long as respect's there, I'm fine." Jasmine then added softly, "I just don't want it to get messy." Michelle paused the clip, looked straight into the camera, and said, "And messy it got." The video was explosive. Within minutes, it spread across social media like wildfire. People couldn't believe what they'd just heard. The idea that all 3 had acknowledged and accepted the arrangement shattered years of denial. Fans rushed to analyze the tone, the phrasing, even the pauses between words. "That's definitely Rasheeda's voice," one user tweeted. Another wrote, "You can hear the pain even back then." The clip reached millions of views within hours, forcing Kirk and Rasheeda's PR team into crisis mode. Kirk released a statement first. "That recording is old and taken out of context. It was part of a personal conversation that's nobody's business. I won't let people destroy my family over a mistake we already moved past." The tone was defensive, and fans didn't buy it. Rasheeda followed with a statement that read, "Sometimes, love takes strange paths. I'm not ashamed of my journey, but I'm done letting strangers define it." Jasmine, however, posted nothing, no words, no response, just a black screen with the word "enough." That silence spoke louder than anything else. Within hours, the network announced an emergency special, The Atlanta Truth, UNCUT. Producers fast-tracked filming to capitalize on the moment. Insiders leaked that Michelle would host. The goal was to let everyone speak their truth once and for all. Filming began just 2 days later, and crew members described the atmosphere as volatile. Nobody greeted anyone. Kirk sat stiff in his chair, arms crossed. Rasheeda looked composed, but drained. Jasmine appeared detached, as if she'd accepted whatever was coming. Michelle, on the other hand, looked ready for war. The cameras rolled. Michelle opened. "We all adults here. People say, I started the fire, but maybe the fire was already burning." Kirk glared at her, muttering, "You didn't need to make it national news." Michelle smirked. "It was already national. I just stopped y'all from pretending." Jasmine finally spoke, her voice steady. "They knew. They both knew. We agreed to something that wasn't meant for cameras. And when the cameras came, I became the problem." Rasheeda turned toward her slowly, saying, "You became the problem when you broke the trust." Jasmine shot back, "You broke it first when you let the world think I was just your husband's mistake." The crowd behind the cameras gasped. The exchange was raw, too real for comfort. Kirk tried to intervene, raising his voice. "Y'all ain't innocent either. Everybody played their part." Michelle interrupted. "So admit it. It was real. It happened." Kirk clenched his jaw and said nothing. Rasheeda whispered, "We made choices we shouldn't have." Jasmine's expression softened, and for the first time, tears welled up in her eyes. "You think I wanted to fall in love with both of you?" she said quietly. "I was 25. Y'all were my family. And then one day, I was the villain." The set went silent. Even Mona Scott, sitting off camera, didn't move. It wasn't entertainment anymore, it was heartbreak, disguised as a headline. Fans watching leaked clips later described it as too emotional to be fake. People cried in comment sections. Others wrote essays about love, loyalty, and control. The conversation had grown beyond gossip. It was now about humanity behind fame. After filming ended, Michelle reportedly hugged Jasmine and whispered something that no mic caught. Rasheeda walked out first, head high but eyes wet. Kirk stayed seated for several minutes, staring at the floor. When he finally stood, he told producers, "Don't air this. Please don't." But it was too late. The special aired 3 days later and broke viewership records. Every confession, every tear, every accusation played out in front of millions. Fans called it the most honest reality TV moment ever. Hashtags like #AtlantaTruth and #PolyConfession trended for days. Jasmine gained a wave of support from women who said they'd been silenced for loving wrong. Others rallied behind Rasheeda, calling her the woman who owned her pain. Kirk was left in the shadows, facing more criticism than ever before. Then, in a surprising twist, Jasmine posted an open letter on her page. "I never wanted to ruin lives," she wrote. "I just wanted people to stop pretending like I was the only one who made mistakes. We were all lost, trying to love in ways that didn't fit the world's rules. I hope one day we all find peace." Her words went viral. Even people who once hated her now called her brave. Rasheeda liked the post but didn't comment. Kirk didn't react at all. As the weeks passed, the chaos began to settle, but the scars were visible. Kirk and Rasheeda stopped appearing together. Jasmine started her own podcast about truth in relationships, and her first episode, titled "The Love We Hide," hit 1 million plays in 2 days. Michelle moved on to new projects, but every interview she gave included at least one question about the Atlanta situation. She always smiled and said, "Sometimes, truth just needs a loud mouth." Yet behind the entertainment and applause, something deeper lingered. Fans realized the story wasn't about scandal, it was about what happens when reality TV crosses into real life. When emotions stop being scripted and start being survival. And though Michelle had been the spark, it was Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine who carried the burn. As Atlanta moved on, nobody really forgot. The internet never does. Screenshots lived on, clips resurfaced, and every now and then, someone would comment under an old post. We all agreed. Baby. That single line, 6 words, born from a leaked recording, became the phrase that defined them forever. As the hours passed, the chaos only deepened. Cameras stopped rolling, but the tension didn't fade. Kirk stormed through the parking lot, phone in hand, shouting at someone on the other end. "I told you not to talk to her," he yelled, pacing beside his car. Rasheeda followed a few steps behind, silent but visibly shaking. Jasmine stayed behind with Michelle, refusing to leave the set. "You think I'm scared of them?" Jasmine snapped, eyes full of tears. "They made me look like the side chick for years. I'm done protecting anybody." Michelle didn't flinch. "Then say it," she said. "Say the truth while everyone's watching." Jasmine hesitated, her lip trembling as producers gathered around. "We were all in it together," she finally said, her voice breaking. "It wasn't just Kirk's mess, it was ours." That sentence hit harder than any slap or argument the show had ever filmed. The crew froze. Even Mona Scott, who had seen it all, looked stunned. Within minutes, word spread. The assistant director whispered to another crew member, and by the time the van doors closed, half the industry had heard that a love triangle might have been something else entirely. Rasheeda slammed her car door and drove off without looking back, while Kirk stayed behind, his anger slowly replaced by exhaustion. He sat on the curb, muttering, "It wasn't supposed to go like this." The next day, blogs erupted. "Poly bombshell rocks, love and hip-hop," read one headline. Michelle exposes real reason behind Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage scandal, said another. Fans dissected every word Jasmine had said, every frame of her on-screen tears, every old argument between her and Rasheeda. Some said it finally made sense, how Rasheeda's reactions always seemed to calm, to rehearsed, like she was protecting something deeper. Others accused Jasmine of lying for clout, but while the internet argued, something else was brewing behind closed doors. Kirk and Rasheeda reportedly met privately the following night at their home. Neighbors said they could hear raised voices. "Why can't you just deny it?" Rasheeda shouted. Kirk replied, "Because denial won't fix what she's already told." Their son Kai was said to have intervened, begging them to stop. "This is embarrassing," he said quietly. This is embarrassing," he said quietly. "You both built a." Kirk handled the store and their brand promotions alone, his usual confidence gone. Insiders said he barely slept, constantly checking calls from production and lawyers. Meanwhile, Mona Scott made her move. She reached out to Michelle privately and offered her a deal. An exclusive reunion episode where everyone could clear the air. Michelle agreed immediately, but on one condition. "I want it unedited," she said. "No cutting the truth this time." The network hesitated, but eventually, desperation won. The reunion was set for the following week. Word spread fast, and fans flooded the comments sections with wild theories. Would Jasmine and Rasheeda face each other? Would Kirk admit to anything? Or would it all implode before cameras even started rolling? The tension reached its peak the night before filming, when a leaked voice note surfaced online, allegedly Kirk's voice, saying, "We all knew what it was. It just got out of hand." Though unverified, it reignited every rumor. By morning, Polygate was trending across every platform. When the cast arrived at the reunion set, security was tighter than ever. Mona Scott stood off camera, headset on, watching as the three of them took their seats. Kirk looked pale. Rasheeda kept her chin high, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. Jasmine sat still, hands folded, eyes red but unshaken. Michelle was already micked up, her smile calm and knowing. The crowd went silent as the cameras started rolling. The host welcomed everyone, but no one responded. Then Michelle leaned forward, breaking the tension with one line that sent chills through the room. "Now that we're all here, let's finally stop pretending." And just like that, the real drama began. For a few seconds, no one spoke. The silence stretched, heavy enough to choke the air. Kirk adjusted his mic, staring at the floor like the answers might be written there. Rasheeda's nails tapped against the table, slow and deliberate, as if the sound itself could hold her together. Jasmine looked like she wanted to disappear, but Michelle wasn't letting up. She leaned back, voice sharp but measured. "You can hate me for saying it," she said, "but you can't act like it never happened." "People know now," the audience gasped, cameras zooming in on every twitch of emotion. Kirk finally looked up. "You need to stop lying," he said. "You don't know what went on in my marriage." Michelle laughed once, dry and humorless. "Your marriage? You mean that arrangement you turned into a storyline?" "Kirk, please. Half of Atlanta knows how that went." Rasheeda's composure cracked. She turned toward Michelle, eyes blazing. "You don't know what you're talking about," she snapped. "You weren't in my house. You weren't in my bed." The audience erupted, some shouting, some laughing, some just stunned. Jasmine looked from one to the other, voice trembling. "But I was," she said softly. And suddenly, the entire set fell silent again. Even Mona Scott, standing behind the cameras, stopped breathing. Michelle folded her arms. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Now can we stop acting like I made this up?" Kirk slammed his hand on the table. "That's not how it happened," he shouted. "None of y'all understand. It wasn't supposed to be public." His voice broke near the end of the sentence. Rasheeda turned away from him, shaking her head. "You said she was done," she whispered. "You promised it was over." Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. "You told me you wanted both," she said. "You said we were different." Kirk's shoulders dropped, and for the first time, he looked defeated. "I said a lot of things," he muttered. The host tried to regain control, but the room had already spiraled beyond professionalism. Michelle wasn't finished. "The reason I said something," she continued, "is because I'm tired of watching women tear each other apart while these men sit back pretending they're victims. Rasheeda, you've been playing strong, but you knew the truth. Jasmine, you've been carrying guilt for years. It's time everybody owns their part." Her tone wasn't cruel, it was almost weary. Rasheeda blinked rapidly, the anger giving way to something closer to pain. "I thought I could control it," she said. "I thought if I stayed quiet, people would forget." The host asked if Rasheeda was admitting to being part of a poly relationship, but she didn't answer directly. Instead, she looked straight at the camera. "People think TV shows are fake," she said softly, "but sometimes the lies are real, and the truth is what never makes it to air." Jasmine reached for a tissue, wiping her face. "I didn't want to hurt you," she told Rasheeda. "I wanted him to choose." Kirk buried his face in his hands. "And now everybody loses," he said. The producers cut to commercial, but the shouting didn't stop. Michelle and Rasheeda argued off mic. Jasmine left the stage in tears, and Kirk sat frozen, staring at the empty chair beside him. Mona Scott ordered security to clear the area for 10 minutes while tempers cooled. Backstage, Jasmine was crying into her phone, whispering to someone, "They're going to twist everything I said." Michelle paced nearby, muttering, "Let them. The truth's already out." When filming resumed, Mona herself stepped on stage to mediate, something she rarely did. She looked at all three and said, "You've built this show on real emotions, but this is deeper than TV. Do you want to fix it or finish it?" Rasheeda took a deep breath. "I don't know if it can be fixed," she said. "Maybe we just stop pretending to be perfect." Kirk nodded slightly, his voice low. "I wanted to protect our image, but all I did was make it worse." Jasmine looked up from her chair. "You made me the villain," she said. "I loved you, and you made me hate myself," Kirk whispered. "I didn't mean to," but she shook her head. "You did." After the reunion wrapped, no one stuck around. Kirk and Rasheeda left in separate cars. Jasmine's driver waited for her at the gate, but before she got in, she looked back at the set. Her face unreadable. Michelle stood outside smoking, watching her go. "You did what you had to do," she said quietly. Jasmine replied, "No, I did what I should have done years ago." The next morning, the footage leaked. Not the full reunion, just a few clips. The worst ones. Rasheeda shouting, Jasmine crying, Kirk slamming his hand on the table. The internet had a field day. Fans called it the most explosive reunion in love and hip-hop history. Hashtags like #Team, RASHEEDA, #Justice for Jasmine, and #Kirk Exposed trended for 3 days straight. Think pieces flooded YouTube and TikTok, dissecting every expression, every glance. Michelle posted a single tweet that said only, "Truth doesn't need editing." Within hours, it had over 1 million likes. Behind closed doors, VH1 executives panicked. The leaked footage wasn't supposed to drop until post-production. Lawyers got involved, and rumors spread that Mona Scott herself might be under investigation for the leak. But Mona denied everything, claiming someone on the editing team had gone rogue. Privately, though she was relieved, the ratings were already spiking. The reunion hadn't even aired, and yet everyone was talking about it. She told her. And yet everyone was talking about it. She told her. Replied, "No. I did what I should have done years ago." The next morning, the footage leaked. Not the full reunion, just a few clips. The worst ones. Rasheeda shouting, Jasmine crying, Kirk slamming his hand on the table. The internet had a field day. Fans called it the most explosive reunion in love and hip-hop history. Hashtags like #Team, RASHEEDA, #Justice for Jasmine, and #Kirk Exposed trended for 3 days straight. Think pieces flooded YouTube and TikTok, dissecting every expression, every glance. Michelle posted a single tweet that said only, "Truth doesn't need editing." Within hours, it had over 1 million likes. Behind closed doors, VH1 executives panicked. The leaked footage wasn't supposed to drop until post-production. Lawyers got involved, and rumors spread that Mona Scott herself might be under investigation for the leak. But Mona denied everything, claiming someone on the editing team had gone rogue. Privately, though she was relieved, the ratings were already spiking. The reunion hadn't even aired, and yet everyone was talking about it. She told her assistant, "They'll all hate me today, but next season, they'll be begging to come back." But for the cast, the damage was real. Rasheeda reportedly left home for a few days, staying with a close friend. Kirk tried to reach her, but she ignored every call. Jasmine deactivated her social media after receiving threats, while Michelle booked interviews with every major outlet that would have her. In one of them, she said, "I didn't expose them to destroy them. I did it so they could stop living a lie." But not everyone believed her. Some accused her of exploiting private pain for attention, while others hailed her as the only one brave enough to tell the truth. As days passed, more leaks followed, screenshots, texts, and old behind-the-scenes clips that seemed to support Michelle's claims. One message allegedly from Kirk read, "As long as we keep it quiet, everybody wins." Another, supposedly from Rasheeda, said, "I can't keep pretending forever." Though their authenticity was debated, the timing couldn't have been worse. Brands started pulling sponsorships, threatening to end contracts with Frost Enterprises. What had started as reality TV drama had turned into a full-blown public scandal. And still, through all of it, no one really knew what was true. Then, in a surprising twist, Jasmine broke her silence again with a long post. She didn't name anyone, but her words were heavy. "The truth doesn't always set you free," she wrote. "Sometimes it just exposes how trapped you've been." Fans flooded her comments with support, urging her to release her side of the story in full. And somewhere in Atlanta, Kirk and Rasheeda sat in silence, watching their empire crumble, unsure if they'd ever recover. But what none of them knew was that another secret one, even deeper, was about to come out. And it would make everything before it looked like child's play. 3 weeks passed, but the fire refused to die. Every gossip outlet in Atlanta was still chasing the same storm rumors of recordings, messages, and even contracts between Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine. The internet had turned the scandal into an obsession. Reaction channels uploaded breakdowns, podcasts debated moral angles, and fans divided themselves into camps. The Frost family, once reality TV royalty, had become a case study in chaos. And in the middle of it, K. Michelle was suddenly everywhere. She appeared on morning shows, night shows, podcasts, smiling in every frame, repeating the same calm line, "I told the truth, and if that makes people uncomfortable, so be it." But behind her composure was strategy. Sources close to her said she wasn't done. She had one last piece of evidence that she hadn't released yet, something too real to fake. When one reporter pressed her for details, she said only, "You'll see soon enough." That promise spread like wildfire. Every fan, every outlet, every ex-cast member waited for what she called the final reveal. Meanwhile, Kirk was unraveling. He barely left the house, stopped taking business calls, and avoided cameras. Neighbors claimed they saw him pacing outside late at night, talking to himself. Rasheeda, though equally shaken, tried to hold on to what was left of their brand. She reopened the store, posed for photos, and forced a smile whenever fans approached. But her eyes told the real story. She looked tired, older, drained of her signature spark. And Jasmine had disappeared. No one had seen her since her last post. Some said she'd left Atlanta altogether. Others claimed she was working with producers on a documentary of her own. Then, one morning, Atlanta woke up to chaos again. A leaked voicemail surfaced on a gossip blog, allegedly between Kirk and Jasmine. The audio was grainy, but clear enough to hear Kirk's voice saying, "We said we'd tell her together. You promised." Jasmine replied, "You kept pushing it off. I got tired of waiting." Kirk's tone turned desperate. "You were supposed to protect us, not destroy us." The clip went viral within hours. If there was any doubt left about their past, it was gone now. VH1 went silent, refusing to issue statements. Mona Scott called an emergency conference, furious that yet another leak had hit the internet. "We're losing control of the narrative," she said. But K. Michelle was ready. That same night, she posted a video titled "The Truth Y'all Been Waiting For." It opened with her sitting in a dim room. No makeup, just a raw tone. "They called me messy. They called me bitter," she began. "But I've been holding this for years. I'm not here to hurt anyone, but I'm done protecting lies." She pulled out a folder and held up printed screenshots, text messages, allegedly between Kirk and Rasheeda, discussing Jasmine's role in their relationship. One of the texts, supposedly from Rasheeda, read, "As long as she respects the boundaries, I'm fine. What I don't want is drama." Another from Kirk said, "She just wants to feel included. Let's make it work." Fans were stunned. The video hit 1 million views in 2 hours, and comments poured in from both supporters and critics. Some called it fake. Others said it confirmed everything they'd suspected. K. Michelle ended the video with a line that echoed across social media. "The truth isn't drama, it's just uncomfortable." Within hours, Kirk and Rasheeda's lawyers responded, calling the screenshots fabrications. They threatened legal action, but the damage was already done. Gossip pages replayed the video non-stop, while talk shows debated whether K. Michelle had crossed a line. Meanwhile, Jasmine quietly resurfaced online with a single post, a photo of a closed door with the caption, "You can't rewrite what really happened." It was enough to send fans spiraling again. Mona Scott saw an opportunity. Despite the chaos, she announced a 2-part documentary titled "Behind the Scenes: The Untold Story." It promised never-before-seen footage and exclusive interviews with cast members. Kirk and Rasheeda refused to participate, but K. Michelle and Jasmine agreed instantly. Filming began within days. From the first interview, it was clear this would not be a redemption story. K. Michelle spoke bluntly about the industry's culture of secrecy. "These people live 2 lives," she said. "One for the cameras, one for survival." Jasmine's interview, though softer, hit harder. "I didn't want fame," she said. "I wanted honesty, but honesty doesn't sell as well as heartbreak." When the first episode aired, it broke streaming records. Viewers flooded social media, debating every revelation. Some clips showed behind-the-scenes moments from old Love and Hip Hop seasons, and released footage where Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine were seen together in moments that now looked far too intimate for coincidence. In one scene, Kirk brushed Jasmine's shoulder backstage while Rasheeda smiled faintly. Fans replayed it endlessly, insisting it proved the trio's hidden connection. The fallout was massive. Brands dropped Kirk and Rasheeda's endorsements, and their stores' sales dipped sharply. But oddly, K. Michelle's music saw a surge in streams. Every headline carried her name, framing her as the fearless truth-teller of reality TV. Even her critics couldn't ignore the impact. She had changed the narrative of the entire franchise. A week later, something unexpected happened. Jasmine requested a private meeting with Rasheeda. Sources said it took place in a quiet restaurant outside the city. No cameras, no press, no producers, just two women with too much history between them. Witnesses described the conversation as tense but emotional. Jasmine reportedly began with an apology. "I never meant to humiliate you," she said. Rasheeda replied, "You didn't. He did. We both just let it happen." For the first time, there was no shouting, no bitterness. They spoke like two people finally tired of fighting the same war. By the end of the night, Jasmine left the restaurant in tears, while Rasheeda sat alone for a long time before leaving. Neither confirmed the meeting, but insiders close to both said something shifted that night. The next morning, Rasheeda posted a long caption under an old photo of her and Kirk. "Sometimes love isn't pure. Sometimes it's just persistence. But forgiveness, that's peace." Fans flooded her comments with messages of support, calling her the strongest woman on TV, but Kirk didn't respond. Instead, days later, he released a short video of his own. He looked exhausted, wearing a hoodie, eyes red. "I made mistakes," he said. "I hurt people who didn't deserve it. I let fame turn my home into a show. But I'm not the monster they're making me out to be." His words were quiet but raw. "It wasn't fake love," he added. "It was just love that got lost." The video didn't win everyone back, but it softened some hearts. For the first time in weeks, the comments weren't all hate. And just when it seemed the dust might settle, another storm hit. An anonymous source sent clips to multiple media outlets, recordings of production meetings from years ago, where producers discussed how to shape the storyline between Kirk, Rasheeda, and Jasmine. One producer's voice could be heard saying, "As long as they keep denying it, it's good TV." Another laughed, "The fans will eat it up." The implication was clear. The network had known far more than they admitted. VH1 immediately issued a statement claiming the recordings were taken out of context, but no one believed it. Fans demanded accountability, accusing the show of manipulating real people's pain for profit. Mona Scott stayed silent this time, her usual confidence replaced by uneasy quiet. Insiders said she was furious that the show's credibility had been shattered beyond repair. Through it all, K. Michelle remained unbothered. In her next interview, she said, "See, it was never just about them. It was about the system that feeds off of secrets." Jasmine agreed. "We were all puppets," she said. "And the moment we stopped playing, they called us messy." As the scandal reached its breaking point, Rasheeda and Kirk reportedly decided to take time apart. She moved into her mother's house temporarily, while Kirk stayed behind, managing what was left of their business. Fans speculated endlessly about divorce, but neither confirmed it. Instead, Rasheeda shared a simple message with her followers. "Sometimes silence says everything." K. Michelle, ever the provocateur, ended her final interview with a smirk. "People keep asking if I'd do it again," she said. "Yeah, I would, because truth don't expire." And that truth, whether entirely real or partially crafted, had left a mark no reality TV edit could erase. What began as gossip had evolved into revelation, and what once looked like just another scandal had turned into the most human story the franchise had ever seen. The only question left was whether any of them could rebuild their lives from the pieces the world now held in its hands. Rasheeda's voice cracked as she yelled across the set, her words trembling but sharp enough to slice through the air. Kirk tried to pull her back, but she shook him off, her face flushed with rage. Mona stood her ground, refusing to look away. "You think you can play victim when you've been stirring drama behind the scenes?" She fired back, her tone steady but loaded. Jasmine shifted nervously in the corner, clutching her phone, recording the entire exchange. The crew didn't dare intervene. Lights stayed hot, cameras rolled. This was the kind of chaos reality TV dreams of. Rasheeda threw her hand toward Mona, pointing as if she could tear the air apart with that gesture. "You built this show on people's pain," she shouted. "You built it on mine, on Kirk's, on Jasmine's. And now you want to act like you didn't." Mona's eyes narrowed. "Baby, don't forget you signed up for it. You knew exactly what this was." Kirk's voice cut through the tension. "Nah, Mona. This ain't it. This ain't how you do family." He stepped closer, face tight, voice low but dangerous. Jasmine backed up a little, whispering to one of the assistants, "Is this still rolling?" No one answered. Mona crossed her arms. "You call this family?" She scoffed. "Please. Half of y'all can't even have dinner without a camera catching someone crying." Rasheeda lunged forward. Kirk caught her, wrapping his arms around her waist as she tried to break free. "She don't get to talk about my life like that," Rasheeda screamed. "You made me look like a fool, like I was begging for love that wasn't mine to fight for." Mona's voice softened slightly, though her expression didn't. "You didn't need my help for that." A hush fell. Everyone froze. Rasheeda went still in Kirk's arms, her breath sharp and shallow. Jasmine turned her camera off, eyes wide. "Nah," Kirk muttered, shaking his head. "That was low." Mona looked around, suddenly aware of the faces watching her. "You all forget what this is," she said quietly. "This is television. You think the world wants to see peace? No. They want raw. They want real." Rasheeda tore away from Kirk, walking right up to her. "Then be real right now," she said through clenched teeth. "Say it. Say you don't care about any of us." Mona hesitated for a second that felt like forever. The lights flickered above them, a soft hum filling the room. "I care about the story," she finally said, "and that's more than most of you care about yourselves." It hit like a slap. Kirk stepped forward again, jaw tight. "Story. This our lives. Our kids see this. Our families live this." Mona turned away. "That's your choice, not mine." The silence after her words was heavier than the shouting. The only sound came from Jasmine's heels clicking as she walked out, muttering something under her breath. The crew began to move slowly again, whispering among themselves, wondering if they'd just witnessed the end of something or the beginning of a new scandal. Rasheeda stood there, motionless. Kirk touched her shoulder, but she didn't move. Her face had gone blank, like someone who had seen too much to react. "You happy?" she asked quietly, her voice barely a whisper but cold enough to cut. Mona didn't answer. The producer in her wanted to say yes. The human in her didn't know. Outside, the night air was heavy and warm, the sound of distant traffic echoing faintly. Rasheeda walked out alone, her heels clicking against the pavement like punctuation marks to a story that had gone too far. Kirk followed a few steps behind, calling her name. She didn't turn around. Jasmine stood by the lot gates, phone still in hand, already thinking of the captions she could post. Inside, Mona sat down on one of the empty set chairs, staring at the monitors still showing the frozen image of Rasheeda's face. Somewhere deep in her chest, a flicker of doubt began to stir, though she quickly smothered it. The show had always survived worse, but this time, something about the way Kirk had looked at her, like he'd seen through her armor, stayed with her longer than she wanted. Outside, Rasheeda reached her car, her hand shaking as she unlocked the door. Kirk caught up, breathless. "You can't just walk away like that. Watch me," she said, getting in. He put his hand on the door before she could close it. "Baby, listen." "No. You listen. I'm done letting people use my pain for ratings." Her voice cracked, but she didn't break. Kirk looked down, unable to meet her eyes. "You think leaving fixes it? It fixes me." She shut the door and drove off, her reflection flickering in the rearview mirror as the set lights faded behind her. Back inside, Mona finally stood up, brushing invisible dust from her blazer. "Cut the footage," she said quietly, but the editor hesitated. The red light was still on, the camera was still rolling, and in that lingering moment, before the screen went dark, the world of love and hip-hop felt more real than it ever had. Hours later, the studio lot was empty, except for a few crew members packing up cables and lights. Mona stayed behind, sitting in the editing room, her reflection faintly visible on the dark monitor. She replayed the confrontation again and again, watching Rasheeda's face twist with anger, hearing Kirk's voice break through the noise. Every frame burned a little deeper into her mind. She had seen fights before, staged ones, messy ones, ones that blurred the line between real and performance, but this one had something else. It wasn't about TV anymore. It was about people she had built, people she had pushed too far. Jasmine walked back into the room without knocking. Her hair was tied up, her lipstick smudged, eyes sharp. "You know it's everywhere, right?" she said flatly. Mona turned. "What is the clip? Someone leaked it. It's all over social media. Hashtags, think pieces, people calling you manipulative, calling Rasheeda a victim, Kirk a fool." She paused, studying Mona's expression. "This one's different, Mona. They're not laughing this time." Mona didn't flinch. "Let them talk," she said quietly. "Talk keeps the show alive." Jasmine sat on the desk, crossing her legs. "You sure about that? 'Cause the network just called. They want a meeting tomorrow. They're not happy." Mona looked up, eyes tired but cold. "They'll get over it. They always do." Jasmine tilted her head, smirking. "You think you're untouchable, but you just lit a match in a room full of gasoline." Mona gave her a long look. "And you, Jasmine, are standing there holding the lighter." Jasmine shrugged, slipping off the desk. "Maybe, but at least I know when to walk away before it blows." She started to leave, then paused at the door. "You should, too." Mona watched her go, the silence settling heavy again. She leaned back, closing her eyes. She had built her empire from chaos, but lately, the chaos felt like it was turning on her. Across town, Rasheeda sat on the edge of her bed, the room dim except for the soft glow of her phone screen. Kirk was downstairs, pacing. He had tried knocking earlier, but she hadn't answered. She scrolled through comments online, reading strangers dissect her marriage, her anger, her tears. Everyone had an opinion, and none of them knew her. Her thumb hovered over the delete button on her account, but she didn't press it. Instead, she opened her camera and recorded a short video. No makeup, no lighting, no filters. To everyone talking about what happened today, she began, her voice steady but low. You don't know the half of it. Sometimes, people forget there are hearts behind the headlines. I'm not here to fight anymore. I'm here to heal. That's all I'll say. She posted it without thinking and tossed the phone aside. Lying back, Kirk finally came upstairs, standing in the doorway. I saw your post, he said softly. She didn't move. You mean the one where I didn't curse anyone out? Yeah, that one. He stepped closer, unsure if he should sit. You were good. Rio doesn't pay bills, she muttered. Rio gets you dragged online. He sighed, sitting beside her. You know she's gonna call Mona. She always does. Rasheeda turned her head. She better not. He rubbed his hands together. You think she cares about what people say? She's already planning the next storyline. Rasheeda looked away. Not this time. I'm done being the storyline. Kirk nodded slowly. Then we walk. She laughed bitterly. Walk. You know how many contracts we signed? How many seasons she can still use our names for? Kirk's jaw tightened. Then we make noise. We tell our side. Rasheeda studied him. And they'll twist it again. They always twist it. He looked down, voice low. So what? We just take it. She didn't answer. Instead, she reached for his hand, surprising him. No. We start something of our own. Kirk frowned. What you mean? I mean we take the cameras back. We tell our story, not hers. Meanwhile, Jasmine sat in her car outside the studio, typing a message draft she wasn't sure she'd send. It was to Mo. You crossed a line today, she wrote, then deleted it. She typed again. You made us into something we're not. She deleted that too. In the end, she just sent a single sentence. You forgot we're human. Then she tossed the phone in the passenger seat and drove off. By morning, headlines screamed across entertainment blogs. Love and Hip Hop implodes on set. Mona Scott's empire in crisis after Rasheeda confrontation. Video clips were being shared faster than anyone could track, dissected frame by frame. Some called Rasheeda brave. Others called her dramatic. Mona didn't care. She had a meeting to handle. She walked into the network office in a tailored suit, her expression unreadable. Executives sat around a long glass table, tension thick enough to cut. You brought the fire, Mona, one of them said, voice clipped. But you also brought lawsuits. She sat down calmly. They won't sue, she said. They love the attention too much. Attention doesn't protect the brand. Another executive shot back. You're losing cast members. Advertisers are nervous. Mona smiled faintly. You all wanted authentic. That's what you got. Authentic doesn't mean reckless. Someone said sharply. We can't afford another public breakdown on your watch. Mona leaned forward. Then stop calling it reality. The room went silent. She stood up. I'll fix it, she said simply, and left before they could argue. Back at home, Rasheeda's phone rang again. This time, she answered. Mona's voice came through, smooth and careful. We need to talk. About what? The part where you tried to humiliate me, or the part where you call it good TV? Mona exhaled. Look, I crossed a line. I'll say that, but this can't be the end. The fans love you. They want more. Rasheeda laughed dryly. They love seeing me cry. They love seeing me fight. You think that's love? It's attention, Mona replied. And that's currency. Not to me. There was a pause. Then what do you want? Mona asked quietly. Rasheeda hesitated. I want peace. Peace doesn't trend, Mona murmured. Maybe not, Rasheeda said, but it lasts longer. For the first time in years, Mona didn't know what to say. She ended the call, staring at her reflection in the black phone screen. She looked tired, older somehow. Jasmine's message flashed again at the top of her inbox. You forgot we're human. The words stuck. 2 weeks passed. Rumors swirled that the show might be cancelled. Mona kept quiet. Rasheeda and Kirk started uploading small vlogs, clips of family dinners, workouts, mornings without makeup or script. The views climbed fast. The comments shifted from gossip to support. This is the realest thing I've seen from y'all in years. One read. Another said, you don't need the show. You are the show. Jasmine joined in, posting a video titled The Truth about what really happened on set. It went viral overnight. She didn't attack Mona, but she told her story honest, raw, unpolished. She talked about the exhaustion of being a storyline, the guilt of feeding off other people's pain. By the end of the month, The network called Mona again, asking her to salvage what was left. "They've moved on," she said simply. "The show's done." But later that night, she watched Rasheeda's vlog again. There was something pure about it, something she couldn't look away from. For years she had built drama to sell truth. Now, the truth was selling itself without her. One evening, Mona showed up at Rasheeda's house unannounced. Kirk opened the door, surprised. "She's in the back," he said cautiously. Mona nodded and walked through. Rasheeda was tending to her garden, a quiet space away from cameras and noise. When she saw Mona, she straightened slowly, wiping her hands. "You here to film another apology?" she asked. "No cameras," Mona said softly. "Just me." Rasheeda folded her arms. "You got 5 minutes." Mona nodded. "I wanted to say I was wrong. I let the show become something it shouldn't. And I let it hurt people I care about." Rasheeda studied her, searching for cracks in her voice. "You saying that for real, or for press?" Mona met her eyes. "For real." The words hung between them, fragile and strange. Rasheeda turned back to her plants. "Took you long enough." "Yeah," Mona said quietly. "But I'm still learning." Rasheeda didn't smile, but she didn't walk away either. "Then start by letting it end." Mona nodded. "Maybe that's exactly what I'm here to do." They stood there in silence for a long moment. Behind them, the sun began to set, turning the sky the color of soft amber. Somewhere in the distance, Kirk's laughter carried faintly from inside the house. Jasmine's car pulled up near the curb, her camera in the seat beside her. She hesitated before getting out, unsure if she should interrupt. For once, she turned the camera off and walked in empty. Maybe not everything needed to be filmed. That night, Mona posted a single message on her social media. No captions, no hashtags, just an image of the old cast sitting together during the first season, smiling before the fame and the fights. The cast sitting together during the first season, smiling before the fame and the fights. The caption read, "Thank you for the story." Within hours, comments poured in. Fans were stunned. Some begged for more seasons. Others said it was time. And maybe, for once, Mona agreed. Rasheeda watched the post from her couch. Kirk beside her, their daughter asleep upstairs. "Think she means it?" Kirk asked quietly. Rasheeda shrugged. "I think she finally sees what we saw all along." Kirk smiled faintly. "What's that?" She leaned her head back, closing her eyes. "That piece ain't boring. It's healing." Outside, the night hummed softly, the chaos finally quieting. The lights that once burned on set were off now. But for everyone who had lived inside that storm, something real had finally begun. In the weeks that followed, everything shifted. The noise that once surrounded their names started to fade, replaced by something gentler, quieter. For the first time in years, Rasheeda woke up without dread sitting heavy in her chest. She no longer had to scroll through comments searching for the latest insult or rumor. She cooked breakfast, recorded small moments, and laughed again in ways that didn't feel forced. Kirk noticed the difference before she did. "You don't flinch when the phone buzzes anymore," he said one morning, pouring coffee. She smiled faintly. "Guess I finally stopped caring who's on the other end." He handed her the mug. "That's growth." She took it, eyes soft. "No, that's freedom." Jasmine, too, found herself in a strange new calm. Her Tello video had done something she didn't expect. It healed her. People had listened, not just to the drama, but to the exhaustion underneath it. Fans who once saw her as the villain began sending messages of support, saying they understood, that they too had been judged for choices others didn't understand. For the first time, Jasmine felt seen. She started a podcast called Off Script, where she invited former reality stars to talk about what really went on behind the cameras. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. In the first episode, she said quietly, "People think we live for the drama, but most of us just survive it." That line spread across social media, shared by fans who had followed her since the beginning. Even Mona watched from her phone, listening to Jasmine's voice steady, grounded, strong. She smiled faintly, proud but bittersweet. She had always known Jasmine had something powerful inside her, but she had buried it under storylines. Now Jasmine was writing her own. Mona spent her days differently now. She turned down interviews, skipped premieres, stopped chasing the next big twist. Instead, she worked on a documentary, one that wasn't about fame, but about the human cost of it. She called it Unedited. The first episode opened with her own confession. For years, she said on camera, "I built stories out of other people's pain. I told myself it was entertainment. I forgot that entertainment has a heartbeat." Her voice cracked near the end. Fans didn't know what to make of it at first. Some accused her of trying to rebrand. Others said it was too late. But over time, more people started to listen. Behind all of this, Rasheeda and Kirk's new channel grew quietly into something bigger than they expected. Their videos about business, marriage, and parenting started attracting millions of views. Brands reached out, but they refused the ones that didn't align with their message. "If it don't fit who we are now, we ain't doing it," Rasheeda told Kirk one night. "We built enough off lies. Now it's truth or nothing." Kirk nodded, proud. "Truth pays too," he said with a grin. She laughed, shaking her head. "Not as much, but it feels better." One evening, Jasmine joined them for dinner, a reunion nobody would have believed possible a year earlier. Kirk grilled outside. Jasmine poured wine. Rasheeda set the table. The air was light, no cameras, no tension. "You realize if the internet saw this, they'd lose their minds," Jasmine joked. Rasheeda smirked. "Let 'em. They've been losing their minds over us for years." Kirk chuckled. "Yeah, but this time, at least it's over food, not drama." Jasmine raised her glass. "Two-piece." Then, they clinked glasses. A quiet toast to survival. For a moment, it felt like everything ugly that had happened had led to this something honest, something alive. As night fell, Jasmine's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then frowned. It was an unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something told her to answer. "Hello." There was a pause, then a familiar voice. "Hey, Jasmine, it's Kay." Jasmine froze. "Kay, Michelle." "Yeah, Kay," Michelle said softly. "I just wanted to say, I didn't mean for it to blow up like that." Jasmine stepped away from the table, her voice careful. "You dropped the bomb. Though." "I know," Kay, Michelle said, regret in her tone. "I thought the truth would clear things up. I didn't realize how deep it would cut." Jasmine exhaled. Truth always cuts deep, but maybe it was needed. There was silence on the line for a moment. "You think they'll ever forgive me?" Kay, Michelle asked. Jasmine looked back at Rasheeda laughing in the distance. "Maybe. Forgiveness takes time, but you showing up matters. I want to talk to them," Kay, Michelle said, face to face. Jasmine hesitated, then nodded to herself. "I'll ask." The next day, Kay, Michelle arrived quietly at Rasheeda's house. No cameras, no entourage. When Rasheeda opened the door and saw her standing there, she froze. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Kay, Michelle said, "I came to apologize." Rasheeda's eyes narrowed slightly. "For what exactly?" "For stirring it all up," Kay, Michelle said. "For saying what I said without thinking about what it would do to you, to Jasmine, to Kirk." Rasheeda crossed her arms. "You caused a storm." Kay. "Yeah, Kay," Michelle said softly. "But storms clear the air, don't they?" The two women stood there, tension hanging thick. Then Rasheeda sighed. "Come in." Inside, Kirk was sitting at the table, surprised but calm. Jasmine arrived minutes later, uncertain. The air felt fragile, like it could break with one wrong word. Kay. Michelle sat down, looking at all of them. "I didn't say it to hurt you," she began. "I said it because I was tired of pretending like we didn't all know what was going on. I thought telling the truth would free me. Instead, it trapped us all." Jasmine nodded slowly. "You wanted peace, but you started a war." "Yeah," Kay, Michelle said, eyes wet. "I did." Rasheeda studied her. "You know what hurt the most? Not the rumor. It was how fast everyone believed it." Kay, Michelle nodded. "People love mess more than truth." Rasheeda leaned back. "And we gave them plenty of both." Kirk finally spoke. "So what now?" There was silence for a long moment. Then Jasmine said, "We start fresh. No more lies. No more secrets." Kay, Michelle looked up. "Together?" Rasheeda hesitated, then slowly nodded. "Together." The next week, the four of them recorded a sit-down conversation for Jasmine's podcast. It wasn't polished or scripted. They talked about everything: the rumors, the manipulation, the pain of being public property. Kay, Michelle spoke candidly. "We all got caught up in trying to survive in a world that eats people alive for clicks." Rasheeda replied, "But sometimes, the only way out is through." Kirk added quietly, "And through means forgiveness." Jasmine looked around at all of them, tears in her eyes. This is what healing looks like. When the episode aired, fans flooded the comments with support. "This is the closure we needed. This is real growth." They turned pain into power. Mona watched the episode late that night. She didn't comment, didn't share, didn't call. She just watched, smiling faintly, a glass of wine in her hand. She knew she wasn't part of that story anymore. That was okay. She had built the stage, but they had learned to own it. Months later, the industry began to shift. More reality shows started changing tone, moving from explosive fights to deeper storytelling. Networks realized what audiences wanted wasn't destruction, it was redemption. And somehow, the change had started with the same people who once defined chaos. Rasheeda was invited to speak at a women's empowerment event, where she said, simply, For a long time, I thought strength meant fighting back. Now I know it means knowing when to walk away." The crowd rose to its feet. Jasmine's podcast hit #1 on streaming charts. Kirk launched a mentorship program for young Black entrepreneurs, teaching them to build wealth without selling their dignity. And Michelle released a song titled After the Cameras, a slow, aching ballad about truth and healing. The lyrics hit every raw nerve that fame had left behind. One evening, Jasmine called Rasheeda. After hearing the song, "She really did it," Jasmine said softly. "She told our story without naming us." Rasheeda smiled. "That's the best kind of truth." Months turned into a year. The past became a distant echo, something they no longer ran from. But sometimes, late at night, when Rasheeda sat scrolling through old photos from the early days, she would see their younger faces, hungry, beautiful, reckless, and wonder if any of it could have gone differently. Kirk would wrap his arm around her and say, "We made it out. That's what matters." She'd nod, resting her head against his shoulder. In another part of the city, Mona finished editing her documentary. The final frame lingered on her face as she said, "We think we're telling stories, but sometimes, the stories tell us." When it premiered, the audience gave her a standing ovation. It wasn't about fame anymore, it was about understanding. And somewhere, across millions of screens, fans who had once fueled the chaos now sat quietly watching the people they once judged finally find peace. It wasn't explosive, it wasn't dramatic, it was human. And maybe, in the end, that was the most shocking twist of all. What happened on that chaotic set between Mona Scott and Rasheeda Frost will be talked about for years. It was not just a clash of two powerful women, it was the moment Love and Hip Hop finally showed its unfiltered truth. Cameras kept rolling, producers whispered behind clipboards, and cast members stood frozen between loyalty and fear. But one thing was clear. That day, the masks came off. Every secret alliance, every whispered betrayal, every quiet resentment that had been building for seasons finally exploded under the bright studio lights. And if you thought this was the end, think again. Because when Mona Scott storms off a set, it means something bigger is coming. She's not just a producer, she's the architect of reality TV chaos. And Rasheeda Frost, she's not a player to be written out of the game, she's a fighter. A woman who built her brand on strength, survival, and truth. The way she walked off that stage, tears in her eyes, but fire in her voice spoke louder than any confession ever could. You could feel it in the air. This wasn't over. The crew members later said it felt like the end of an era. No one spoke above a whisper. Jasmine sat quietly in the corner, staring at her phone. Kirk's silence was heavier than the lights above. The atmosphere was thick with tension, but also something else. Everyone knew Mona wasn't going to let this story fade quietly. She had too much pride, too much power invested in this empire. She built Love and Hip Hop on conflict and redemption. And this moment had both. The question now wasn't if she'd strike back, it was how. And here's where you come in. Because as fans, we don't just watch the show, we live it. We dissect every gesture, every side eye, every backstage rumor that slips through the cracks. We see the truth behind the editing. We feel the pain behind the glamour. So, tell us what you think. Was Mona right to confront Rasheeda publicly? Did Rasheeda go too far when she called out production for manipulation? Should Kirk and Jasmine have stepped in or stayed silent? Drop your thoughts below, because your voice shapes what happens next. If you've been following Love and Hip Hop from the start, you know this franchise doesn't back down. Every scandal, every fight, every tear-stained confession leads to something even wilder. And from what insiders are whispering, this fight might just be the breaking point that reshapes the entire show. Rumor has it, Mona is already developing a new spin-off, one that exposes the fake friendships and producer games that have been hidden from viewers for years. And guess who might be front and center? Rasheeda Frost herself. Imagine that, the woman who stood up to production becoming the star of a new reality empire. It's poetic justice, and it's something only this world could deliver. But before any of that happens, you need to stay tuned, because this story is still unfolding, and you don't want to miss what comes next. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the chaos behind the cameras, make sure you hit subscribe, because we're not done uncovering what really goes on in the Love and Hip Hop universe. Every week, we bring you the stories they try to hide, the whispered arguments, the secret contracts, the rivalries that start in dressing rooms and explode on national TV. Turn on the notification bell, so when the next episode drops, you're the first to know. Because trust me, the next chapter in this Mona Scott vs. Rasheeda Frost saga is already in motion. There are producers talking, there are cast members choosing sides, There are contracts being rewritten, and when that curtain lifts again, the truth will be even messier. And one more thing, don't just watch the drama, be part of it. Comment your theories, your favorite moments, or even who you think will win this power war. Every like, every share, every comment helps keep stories like this alive. This isn't just entertainment, it's a world we build together, one headline at a time. So, stay ready, stay watching, because the next confrontation might not be on set, it might spill out into real life. Onto social media, into interviews, and maybe even into courtrooms. And when it does, we'll be here to bring you every word, every tear, every revelation. This was Mona Scott and Rasheeda Frost clash on set. Kirk and Jasmine witnessed the explosive fight, and you just saw the uncut truth behind the chaos. If you're still here at the end, that means you care about more than gossip, you care about the people, the power, and the price of fame. So don't go anywhere. Subscribe, stay tuned, and get ready, because we're diving even deeper into the secrets of love and hip-hop's wildest moments. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay bold, and as always, stay tuned for more truth than television can handle.